what happened on Wednesday and the kind of plunge that you had, closing in at the lowest point in the day, down about 226 points. And we've breached that critical support of 18,000. Of course, 17,800 continues to hold, but let's see which way we actually go from here. But FIIs, they continue to remain sellers. Excruciating pain in the markets on Wednesday. We saw selling to the tune of over 2,000 crore rupees, and we fell 1%, over 1% also on Wednesday. And I guess a lot of it, Nikunj, was to do with the way all the news flow around the Adani group of stocks, which alone have lost about almost 1 lakh crore rupees in market cap.
Yes, so Aisha, we'll talk about extensively what's the way forward for Adani group of stocks. But in general, if you have to look at all the other factors which are at play, FIs are sellers, crude prices are inching higher, the market breadth completely got punctured. Day one of last day of FNO expiry with added to that extra element of volatility, and then you got budget which is around the corner. So it is not just Adani group of stocks. I guess some of the overowned stocks from the PSU banking space, from the defense space, from the financial space, they completely caved in. So I wouldn't say markets are nervous, but markets surely are lacking momentum. There is no inertia. You look at the market from the eyes of Nifty, Nifty has been remarkably resilient. But the hollowness in the market, I think, is getting exposed with each passing day, considering that how markets are reacting to bad news, how they're speculating in terms of where the entire long-term taxation structure would move. And even though earnings by and large have been in line with estimates, there is nothing very alarming which has come out from India, and so far the market reaction to earnings, I guess, is very muted. So these are typical telltale signs that in the near term the market is they are not in a momentum groove, so to speak, and that really may continue till the time the budget is not over. Look at the reaction. I mean, we are overreacting in a lot of cases. There is just no reaction to good news. Numbers have not been that bad, but the overowned stocks like PSU banks, Adani group of stocks, everything in a sense is just getting pushed to a wall. So low volume sell-off, but the impact of low volume sell-off is high in terms of the stock price.
Yeah. And the fact that financials and autos as well, financials in particular dragged the way they did, it clearly smacks of pre-budget positioning, I guess, Nikunj.
There is no pre-budget positioning. This time markets in the run-up to the budget, I guess, are very, very nervous. The nervousness could also be a factor of what is happening.
No, you want to lighten positions ahead of the big event.
You want to lighten your positions, and when do you want to lighten your positions? You want to lighten your positions, either you don't expect that the event is going to be a market friendly event, or there are going to be changes in the tax structure, especially LTCG and STG, which in the short to medium term will have impact on the market mood and absolute return potential. You are nervous ahead of the event because you're uncertain. When you're confident that the outcome is going to be strong, you want to approach the event with long positions. So markets are nervous, they're tentative. My sense is that the nervousness is unnecessary. This is purely looking at the track record of the last two budgets, where the budget has not changed anything on the taxation structure, where the budget has been growth oriented, where the budget has done everything in terms of accelerating growth, the multiplier effect to boost the infrastructure and kickstart the economy. So the tone of the tonality of the last two budgets, despite the COVID, I guess has been very reasonable and very predictable. But markets are markets.
So the nervousness is unwarranted prior to the budget, you're saying?
Considering the track record. Yeah. Considering track record. And now the debate, I guess the realistic argument and debate what we should have is that from a market standpoint, Avan, there are two things which matter. Which way the directional move of the government is in terms of the infrastructure spend and maintaining this fiscal deficit and, ensuring growth is strong, and how we take a leap forward. And second is taxes. Within taxes, from a market standpoint, it's about personal taxation. Will it go higher? It should ideally go higher. And second, LTCG and STCG. Within LTCG and STG, more than rate, I think it's a tenure, which is what we need to debate. So there is nervousness, there is no participation, everybody wants to come back after the event. And the silver lining here is that if we come on the right side of the event, then we could see a meaningful comeback.